All right, let's begin. Welcome everyone. Let's start. So let me quickly start sharing my screen. And if you can see my screen, if you can hear me and see me, please put plus in the chat. Let's just do a quick check, make sure that everything is good. And then we can probably start. Let's see. Okay, cool, thank you. So looks like we're good. Then we can start. So welcome. Today is our first lesson. So we are starting new test automation group. I'm super excited about this. Today we will just spend some time and talk about some basics for test automation. What test automation is, what will we need during this course, and then you will need to set up the correct environment so you are able to run the tests and everything works properly. So today's session will be a little bit shorter than our regular ones. We will take about, let's say, 1 hour, maybe 1 hour, 15 minutes, something like this. So I will just go through everything, and then I will give you the materials for environment setup. And in there, you'll find another, I would say about an hour of videos that you will need to go through and make sure that everything is set up properly. So that's why today's lesson will be a little bit shorter, but then there is going to be some part that you will need to do yourself. This being said, the rest of our lessons will be 2 hours long, so today's is just a small exception. Now, I think someone has issues with the video. Let me know if someone else has issues like seeing me or hearing me, please. Let's make sure it's not me. Is the sound okay? Because I can see some issues in the chat. Let's see. Everyone, can you hear me? Can you see me? How's the sound? How's the video? Okay, so it looks like it's mostly good. Maybe try to, like I see that one person has issues, maybe try to reconnect, and hopefully it will be a little bit better. It could be just internet issues or maybe Zoom. Okay, cool. So let's start then, and let's just talk about today's topic. First of all, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lana. I am one of the teachers. I've been this careerist for a few years by now. I have over 10 years of experience in QA in general. I started as a manual QA engineer, then pretty quickly I switched to test automation, and I've been in test automation for, I would say, about like 7 or 8 years by now. I started my automation career with web. So I was automating web for some time. Then eventually I started to also automate mobile, backend. And at this point, I pretty much automate everything. So during this course, we will be learning how to automate web, because this is the most common. This is also very important for us to learn, because this is the base for all your future automation. And eventually, if you ever want to learn mobile or backend automation or something like that, the web is the base for everything. So if you know how to automate web, eventually you can continue and learn mobile and everything else. So I myself been working in many different IT companies. Currently, I'm working for Reddit. I'm a senior QA automation engineer at Reddit. In my current position, I also build a lot of test automation. I mostly work with web and mobile, but sometimes some other types of automation when needed, I can jump and assist with that too. So that's pretty much it. And now I wanted to quickly talk about some org moment for our course. So first of all, we do have a syllabus because I think I've seen someone already was asking for that. Let me drop the link to the Zoom chat. So I will post all these materials on our Slack after this lesson is over, but I also just shared it in the Slack. So this syllabus has all the lessons that we will have and the time for those lessons. So during our course, we will mostly concentrate on test automation. Every Saturday, we will have lessons that will be devoted to test automation. So we will learn how to build test cases, how to work with Selenium, and how to use tools for our test automation. But then besides that, on Thursday, you will have additional classes that will also be very helpful in your test automation job search and your test automation career. So you will have 2 classes that will be devoted to HTML and CSS, just so you understand how a web page is built, how it's structured, and when you look inside the web page and look inside its structure, it's not a totally foreign language to you, so you understand what's happening there as well. You will also have a lesson devoted to Git, and besides that, we will also share a small mini course devoted to Git with you, because during this course, you will be using Git in order to submit homework and store your code. And then also you will have 6 lessons devoted to coding challenges and algorithms. So this is very important for you to practice Python and just get more familiar with Python, get more hands-on experience with Python. And the challenges that we will show during these lessons are pretty common during test automation interviews. So that's why we basically added this content, so you know how to solve problems that people very often will show you during the interview. So that's all, that's the structure. After the main part, we also have the internship. So after we finish with all these lessons, is the last lesson. So in September, we will also have an internship. Internship will be online. It will last 3 weeks. And during the internship, you will be building the project yourself. And of course, there are going to be some participation from our side. There are going to be our teacher assistants who will help you and make sure that everything looks and works good. But that is basically the final part of this course. So that's pretty much it. All the lessons are here. For Saturday classes, we will always start at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern. Thursday classes starts at 5:30 Pacific time, 8:30 Eastern time. All the classes are recorded, so if you couldn't make one class, that's okay, you can still watch the recording. This being said, I would encourage you to join live sessions, because you have an opportunity to ask questions and we can answer those questions right away. If something's not clear, I can explain things again and again. So live sessions will definitely be a little bit more, I feel like a little bit more helpful for you to understand things and learn things faster. So besides this, another thing that I wanted to mention is that all our course communication will happen over Slack, right? So we've created this Slack for us. Over there, you can find this channel, QA automation course. And in this channel, we will post all kinds of updates, notifications about lessons. Everything will pop up here. After every lesson, I will also post the materials. So materials for the past lesson will be posted here. So please check it often. If you have any questions about course, about content, maybe you started to do the homework and something doesn't work, please use Slack. You can ask questions in this channel and we will jump and we will help and answer these questions. And also we do have 2 support managers. They are Nikhil and Jefferson. You can find them in Slack too. So you can see Nikhil here, Nikhil and Jefferson. If you have any questions about Selenium automation and things like this, and for some reason don't want to post in this channel, you can also reach out to them directly and you can ask them questions. They both are very, very experienced with Selenium and test automation, so they can answer your questions. I'm here usually during the weekends, but if I'm not around or like you send me a message and I'm not answering, please don't wait for me. Also ping Nikhil or Jefferson, or better just ask in the channel. So whoever is around from us, we will jump and we will answer your questions, so you are not blocked and basically can continue with your homework or whatever you're building. If you haven't signed up to Slack, we have a link. So let me quickly copy this link and also send it to the chat. Please sign up for Slack, because that's our main channel for communication. And all the news and updates, or if something changes with like schedule, everything will be posted there. It's like the first place. Okay, so that's this. And one last thing that I wanted to mention here is about the contracts, right? So I think we have a couple of people who haven't finished signing the contract. So if you haven't finished the contract yet, or if you have some questions about the contract that you're signing, you can always contact Nikhil in Slack. So again, you can just click on Nikhil and just message. So if you have any questions about the contract, don't hesitate, please reach out. Only the first lesson is free, so please finish signing your contract before the next time, so you're not missing any lessons and you can join the live sessions. And also, if you haven't submitted the admission test, and if that was a requirement, this slide number 2 also has a link, so you can take that test as well. For those of you who are coming from our Python course and submitted all the homeworks during the Python course, admission test is definitely not a requirement. But for those people who haven't participated in our Python course, that's something that you need to complete. So please don't forget to take the test. All right, let's pause here for a second. Let me quickly go through the chat because I've seen a lot of questions, and let's answer everything that we have there. Okay, let's see. Okay. Yes, so when you send messages in Zoom is a little bit weird. If you like click on someone's message, it automatically picks this person. So if you look at the chat, you can like click on like 2, and next to 2 there is like an option. You can click there, and if you pick everyone, then everybody will see the message. If you pick only particular person from this chat, like myself, for example, only I will get the message. So just make sure that you're sending it to everyone. Or if you want to send question to me directly, you can just pick my name from the list of participants, and that way only I will see your message. But everyone is a little bit better, so we don't repeat questions of each other. Did you receive your training at Careerist? I'm not sure, you're probably addressing that to the person above. So sounds like yes. Okay, cool. Let's see what else. Lana, did you complete QA automation before you obtained manual QA job? No, I actually started as a manual QA engineer, and I've been doing manual for, I would say, about a year. I was doing purely manual, but at the same time, I was trying to learn test automation. Trying to learn would be the right wording, because it wasn't very efficient at first. I took a few different courses. I think I started with Java. It was a bad choice. I wasn't clear at a time at all. And I don't have any, like at that point, I didn't have any IT education except for like QA bootcamp. So like coding for me was a little bit hard, especially with Java. But then after, I would say, like first few months of trying with Java, I found a QA automation course with Ruby. And then when I took that one, all of a sudden it just clicked, and I started to do automation. So during my second year, I was working as a manual QA engineer, but I was doing like manual and automation. It was a mix. So company really didn't need automation at the time. So I was mostly building things for myself, just to have something on my resume so I could like talk about that experience. And then I changed the job and I switched to test automation. So this course, basically during this course, we will be using Python, and we will be using a framework that is pretty similar to the one that I learned using Ruby. And from my experience, I think that's the best one for just your understanding. So you understand what we're doing for each particular aspect of automation. And yeah, that's basically how everything started for me. And that's how I came to automation. All right, let's see if we have more questions. And I'm sorry for if you have like audio issues. If you have like some additional programs running on your computer, maybe Google Chrome or something, try to close them. Maybe that will help. But in any case, we will also have the recording. So if it's like absolutely terrible and like you can't stand the sound, is too bad, you can also rewatch the recording. That's another solution that I have. All right, let's see what else. Okay. Yeah, so I think I answered those questions. I see some people have been through our Python course, and some people have been through our manual course. That's good. That's really good. Again, if you have some issues with, like when we start doing automation and something is not clear, please ask questions, and hopefully we will resolve them and you will really understand this content very well. Okay. I don't see any more questions, so I hope this is clear. Please sign up for Slack. Don't forget, this is really important and will help you. And again, Nikhil and Jefferson are our teacher assistants. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, especially if I'm not around, because they are here during the week and also over the weekend sometimes too. So we will basically cover all the time when you need help. Okay. Cool. So let's start talking about test automation next. And let's just quickly talk about what it is. So I hope you have some idea about test automation at this point, but test automation is just a way to test our software that uses automation tools in order to run the tests. That's it. So in manual testing, we basically take a device or open a web page and just go and manually click on the buttons, click on the links, make sure everything is working, and that's it. In test automation, we build software that will do this for us, right? So we will just create a script that will open a web page, click on the buttons, go through some links or go through some interface, and then eventually it will verify that we see the expected behavior. So for example, we can create an automated script that will open Amazon, search for something, and then verify that we are taken to the page with search results and we see correct products or something like this. So that's basically test automation. It will simulate users' behavior within the system. So test automation will open the browser, click on the buttons, and we will see all these actions live, basically. Now, test automation has some benefits. It is fast. So when you run a test case, it usually just takes a few seconds on web. So it saves us a lot of time, especially if we have a huge amount of test cases, for example, like 1,000 of test cases. If we run them automatically, we usually save days of testing. Besides that, it is reliable because it's basically software, right? So we just create automated script once, and then we can just rerun it every time we need. It doesn't get tired. It doesn't have like human error. So it's always just going through the set of commands that we've defined. So that's why we get very consistent behavior and we can actually rely on the results. It is reusable. So we create the test once, and then if nothing changes with that web page, with that user flow, we can rerun that test as many times as we want. We can keep it for years and keep on just reusing it. So that's another great benefit because we just invest in test automation. And then all we need to do is like maintain the tests. But if web interface or mobile interface doesn't change, for example, this test will be just working and we can keep on running that before every release, making sure that nothing is broken. So a very common use case would be to automate user creation or login functionality. They usually don't change often. And then this kind of test cases will be running for probably like a few years before something changes on login page or registration page, and we will need to maintain those tests. And while all these tests are running before every release, we basically don't have to waste our time and manually verify that functionality because test automation will take care of it. Cost reduction. So eventually test automation leads to cost reduction. Usually at first, I would say 3 to 6 months, test automation just increased the price of QA in general because at the beginning, there are not much like automated testing going. There are not many cases covered. So at the beginning, the price of QA goes up because we have automation engineer building things. But then when we have a set of stable tests and start running them, at this point, we will start saving a lot of time on manual testing. So over time, we noticed cost reduction. And the more we rerun the same automated tests, like the longer we use the same automated tests, the better, because we basically don't waste any time on changing that test or maintaining that, but we still keep on getting the consistent results about that feature. So over time, one of the great benefits of test automation is that it also decreases the price of QA in general in the company. And another good point is that test automation increased the test coverage. So ideally, test automation should not replace manual testing. Ideally, we should use benefits of both. So test automation should take care of everything that we repeat, all kinds of tests that we do again and again and again. So smoke tests, regression tests, all that stuff should be automated. But then manual QA engineers can take care of new features. They can take care of testing edge cases or some rare scenarios that we don't automate. Like, for example, clicking on the button multiple times and verify that nothing is broken. This kind of edge cases we usually don't automate. And then if we have test automation covering all the basic flows, and manual QA engineers doing a lot of creative job and trying to break the app, actually, we usually have really good results because we have good test coverage. And also it helps manual QA engineers because they no longer have to do like boring repetitive regressions again and again and again, but instead they can concentrate on actually trying to break something and like be more creative. And that's the part of job that many manual QA engineers actually like, just discover cool bugs and be proud of them. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, let's say we want to build test automation for web. What do we need? First of all, as I mentioned, test automation will simulate user behavior in the system. So when users access the web page, they will need to use a web browser. So that's the first thing that you will need to have in order to build test automation. So I would encourage you to install and use Google Chrome, at least for this course, because Google Chrome is really, really good for test automation. It supports pretty much almost all the Selenium commands that are possible, and definitely all the commands that we will use during this course. It's very quick. And when you run test automation with Google Chrome, you usually get a lot of solid, good results. Other browsers like Firefox, Edge, Safari, they also can be automated. And I will also show during this course how to use them in test automation, but they are a little bit more flaky than Google Chrome. So sometimes a test case that you run on Google Chrome will always pass and will always show consistent results. But if you run the same exact test case on Safari or Firefox, that test case might be failing because one of those browsers load the page either too quickly or too slowly, and then we will need to like add some additional logic in test automation to handle those situations. So to avoid this, I would just recommend you to use Chrome. It will be the easiest. Besides that, during test automation, we basically will be controlling our browser and forcing our browser to do something. So we will need to have a driver. Driver of a browser is just the program that you download, added to your project, and that can talk to the Google Chrome, for example, and tell Chrome what to do. So driver will be another thing that we will need, and I will show you in a few minutes how we add that to our project as well. And another thing that we will be working with is Selenium. So Selenium is the tool for automating web. Selenium is basically a library that we just install in our project, and it will provide us with a lot of different commands. For example, commands to click on something on the web page. So Selenium commands will be sent to the driver, and then driver will translate those commands into commands understandable by browsers. So that's how all this magic is basically working. So in our project, we will use Selenium package. We will call some Selenium methods, for example, clicking something. Then when we start the tests, that command will be passed to the driver automatically, and then driver will work with the browser. So the browser will open and start doing things. That's basically the setup. Now, in order to create test automation, we will be writing code. So we will use a programming language. Basically, during this course, we will be going with Python. Although there are a lot of different programming languages that are used in automation these days. Java, JavaScript, PHP, Ruby, Scala, Kotlin, whatever you can think of. Pretty much most of the known programming languages that are like pretty popular these days can be used for building automation with Selenium. And moreover, they have very similar commands. So for example, in order to click on the element using Python, you will use a click command. In Java, it's also a click command. In Ruby, it's also a click command. So what I'm trying to say here is also we will be using Python during this course. When you learn how to do test automation, you can then switch to another language. So for example, Java or Ruby or something else, that's not going to be like very hard for you because Selenium commands will be all the same. So that's one of the benefits of Selenium. Currently, there are 3 very popular languages in the QA market. They are Java, Python, and JavaScript. So those are the most common languages for test automation. Python and JavaScript popularity is growing. So over the last couple of years, we've noticed more and more jobs in Python. Java has been decreasing. So a lot of companies these days switching from Java and go build their automation in Python or JavaScript. That's definitely one of the biggest trends. So that's why we also pick in Python, because long term, most likely it will be more popular than Java. It's a little bit hard to say at this point, but over the last, I would say actually not even 2, probably like 3 years, it was just growing. And companies that have old frameworks in Java, they still maintain those frameworks in Java, but when they build something new, they pick Python for test automation. One of the huge surprises for me was one of our students who got the job in Salesforce, and Salesforce historically known for pretty much using Java literally everywhere they can. When he joined Salesforce, they basically had some old test automation written in Java, but all the new frameworks that they had, they all were written in Python. So if even Salesforce is switching to Python, that's definitely a very, very good sign. So that's why Python. Python is also the easiest programming language to learn. So that's why we're going to start from here. And besides programming language, we will also need the place to write code, like a notepad for coding. So for that, we will use IDE. During this course, we will use PyCharm. So PyCharm is basically looks like this, right? So this is just the place where we will be writing code and we will be executing code from here. The last thing that we will need to do and we will need to use is the source code management system. So during this course, we will be using GitHub to store our code. And in order to basically push your code to, let me go back here actually for a second. In order to store your code in the GitHub and make it look like this, right, where we can see the project, where we can see all the files, you will be using Git, so you can push your code to the remote repository like this. So those would be the main things that we will use during this course. Your homework, the first homework, will be to set up all these tools. So we'll be going through this document and making sure that everything is working. But I will also talk about this a little bit later. Now, a few words about Selenium, just so you have a better idea. So selenium.dev is the official website for Selenium, where you can find all the information about Selenium project. Selenium is the most popular tool for automating web. That's the most common tool. That's what a lot of companies are using. And Selenium is the tool that automates browsers. That's it. Selenium cannot work with mobile. It cannot work with, I don't know, databases, backend logic or whatever. Selenium is purely for web automation. And Selenium just provides us with these commands that we can use in order to perform some actions on the web page, like click, I don't know, drag and drop, move mouse over a particular web element. So Selenium provides all the methods for doing that. Selenium is very old, actually. If I'm not mistaken, it was created in 2004. And basically, at first, it was just a small project that was evolving over time and eventually turned into the tool that we have right now. Selenium is an open source tool. That's another cool thing about it, because it's absolutely free and everyone can become a contributor to Selenium projects. So there are a lot of people who just work on Selenium in their free time. Also, a lot of sponsors who allow their developers to participate and work on Selenium project. So everyone can find the Selenium source code on internet. And if you ever get to the point where you code really well, as just like probably development level, and you want to change something in Selenium, you can find the project, you can make a request to do some changes. And as long as those changes are accepted by other Selenium contributors, your code can become part of the Selenium. So Selenium has a great documentation. So if you go to selenium.dev documentation here, you will find a lot of examples, a lot of usages on different like programming languages. So if you want to read like more about the history of this tool and all those things, Selenium documentation is very detailed, and this is where you can find a lot of this information. Also, the reason why we go with Python, not with Java, is right here. You can see the same, absolutely the code that's doing absolutely the same. This is Java, this is Python, right? So we obviously want to go with Python here. That's it. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to quickly go through this file with homework instructions and just talk about project setup and the things that you will need to install. So before we do that, let me quickly check the chat, and let's make sure that I answer all the questions. Okay, let's see. Will we receive introduction to Java or JavaScript? No, we're not doing that during this course. So during this course, we will only concentrate on Python. But this being said, you don't really need other programming languages in order to get a job in test automation. As long as you know one language, you're good. That's totally fine. Okay. Cool. So yeah, so this is it. In syllabus, we don't have anything about Java or JavaScript. So this is for Python. This is our syllabus. We will be only using Python, and that's it. Okay, so now this homework instructions and this file is something that we will share with you. So this is the file that you will need to go through in order to do your homework this time. So let's quickly go through that, and hopefully you have an idea of what you will need to install during the homework. So for the homework, as I said, you will need to make sure that you have everything set up and you will have everything installed on your machine. So this homework file has all the instructions and all the information on how to do this. So first of all, don't forget to register for our Slack. The first thing that you will need to do, you will need to install Python. If you have Python installed, just check the version of the Python that you have. So everything that is like pretty late, so for example, version 3.7 and above, everything like that will work. If you have versions before that, I would recommend you to reinstall Python and get to the latest version. If you have Python of version 2.7, that's not going to work at all. Please make sure to reinstall and just install Python of the latest version. So this link over here will take you to Python downloads page. So the latest version is 3.10.5. You can just click here, download, and then it will show you the interface for installation. So you can just go through the steps and just install it on your machine. That's it. So that's Python. If you have Python installed from our Python course, again, just check the version. As long as it's 3.7 and above, you're good. You don't need to reinstall anything. That's the first thing. The second thing that you will need to have is PyCharm. So PyCharm is our development environment. And this is how their official web page looks like. Now, one thing that we will need during this course is PyCharm Professional. So PyCharm Community is not going to work. Not going to work. Definitely not going to work. Don't even try it. It's not going to work. So please go to this web page and download the professional version. If you already have community, that's okay. You can just keep it. They don't conflict with each other. Just also install professional, and then you will have two on your machine. But during this course, we will be using this we will be using the professional one. As you can see, professional one requires a license. So if you signed the contract already, please contact Nikhil or Jefferson. So they will give you the license for the professional edition of PyCharm. We have a set of licenses for students, so we will just share the license with you, so you don't have to buy it. Also, with the professional edition, first 30 days are free. So if you are still like working on signing your contract, you can totally just use the free version for now. And then when you're done with that, you can reach out to Nikhil or Jefferson, and they will provide the license. All right, so this is PyCharm. Again, just install it on your machine, and that's it. Nothing else is needed. Now, another thing that you will need to do is create an account on GitHub. So let me copy this link. So if you go to github.com, over here, you can just click sign up. And here you can basically create your profile. So you will need to enter your email. You can use your personal email, it will ask you to create your username, and that's it. Then you can just sign up. And after you are registered at GitHub, you will see, basically you will have an account like this. I'll show you really quickly, where you will see the page with your name. You won't have any project, it will be empty, but in here you will have your name, your username, and that's basically it. So you will just need to register. So that's GitHub. And then in order to work with the project, and in order to push your code to GitHub, you will also need to install and download Git. So over here, we have the link to Git downloads. So just pick the one for your computer. And then when you download it, just go through the installation steps, and that will be installed on your computer. So those are just the basic tools that we will need to install. So Python, just the programming language, PyCharm, right, our project, GitHub, so we can store the code remotely, and Git will be the tool that allow us to push the code to the remote repository. So when you are going through this file, you will see that some of the steps have videos. So for example, this one has a video on how to install Python, and if you just watch this video, it basically has more detailed instruction on how to do that. So if you are going through the steps and if you see video, please watch it. Just to make sure that you are doing the right things. Obviously, things like register for GitHub, we don't have a video, but it's very simple. You just enter your email, basically click register, and that's it, you're good. Now, for Git is a little bit complicated to install and use. So for Git, we actually created a whole different course with the instructions on how to work with Git, how to install Git, and things like this. So if you use this link from your homework, this one, the free one, and click on it, it will take you to Udemy. And here, if you did everything correctly, you will see that the course is free. So this should say free. So then you can just enroll in this course and you can watch everything that is related to Git. So this whole course is 1 hour, so not very long, but please at least look at the introduction, installation, and make sure that you installing it properly. So here is the instructions on how to install it on Mac, on Windows, and some basic commands, right? So you know basically what you're doing. So at minimum, please watch this first 15 minutes. Also, I would recommend you to go through the other videos as well. You will have one lesson devoted to Git too, besides this, but if you look through this, you will have a way better understanding of what Git is, how it's being used in development. And when you have a lesson that is devoted to Git, you can ask your questions and concentrate a little bit more on the commands and things. So please go through those videos as well. So this is Git. And when you have all this basics installed on your machine, at this point, you can start working with the project. And at this point, you can clone the project from our repository and set it up. So our project, this is step number 6, lives here. This is it. Right. So this is where you can find the test automation project that we will be using during this course. So over here, I already have pre-created some files with the project structure, some simple scripts that you can use. And this is where we're going to start with. So when you basically, when you will be setting up the project, please watch this video, because I basically show every step on how to go here and copy this project so it's available for you locally. Basically, you will need to click on fork. So it will fork that project to your own GitHub account, and then from there you will go to code, and you will just copy this link and you will clone that on your machine. But please, when you're setting up the project, make sure to use this video and go through the steps that I'm showing at the video. So if you just go here and try to copy, it's not going to work for you. So you will need to go through the fork and then go through cloning the project that will be your own at that time. So this video again has the instructions on how to do that. So that's pretty much it for like just the basic setup. Now, when you go through this video and clone the project, you will also see the instructions in that video on how to add that project to the PyCharm. So when you add that project to the PyCharm, you will see basically this. So you will see your project over here. The only difference, it will be called Python Selenium automation for you. I renamed mine to say 11 because we've had 11 groups so far, but for you, it's just going to be called Python Selenium automation. Inside of that, you will see features, and then you will see some files. And then in the instruction, I also show how to go through preferences, pick the interpreter for this project, So in this case, you will pick your version of Python, like the latest one that you have, and how to use Selenium. So you will basically just add Selenium over here to this project. And besides Selenium, you will also add Behave. So all that is in that video, so no need to do it right now, but just quickly showing you the main steps, right? And then after that, when you click OK, that will basically make sure that all the packages will be here. So if you open sample script, for example, you won't see anything red in here. Like it's not going to be like underlined, or everything will look similar to this. So that means that you set up project correctly, and all the libraries that we will be using, everything is here. Now, after you set up PyCharm, Python, and set up the project, the last thing that we will need to do will be setting up Google Chrome so we can work with the browser. So if you don't have Google Chrome, please go to Google Chrome, download that, and install it. After you installed Google Chrome, you will be able to open it. The last thing that we will need to do will be to install Chrome driver. So for that, I have a video also on how to do it, but let me quickly show you here as well. So for that, at that point, you will have a project that looks like this. If you click on sample script file, you will see this file. It will be this, absolutely identical. And then after you have Google Chrome installed, the last thing will be to go and install Chrome driver. So if you go to this web page, it will allow you to download Chrome driver. So please make sure that you are downloading the correct version, because this is the most common mistake that we usually see from people. So if you go to Google Chrome, about Google Chrome, right, you will see the version of Google Chrome that you have. And by the way, if it's old and not updated, I would recommend you to update this to the latest version before you install Chrome driver and everything else, right? So I have version 103. This is the latest stable version. So this is the version that I have here. Now, when I download Chrome driver, basically on this page, I need to find version 103, right? This one, the second link tells me that this is for 103. So when I click here, it will take me to this page to download the Chrome driver for my machine. If you are on macOS, please be careful. Make sure that you are downloading the right one for your computer. If you have macOS with M1 chip, you need this one. If you're just on the regular macOS, you need this one. If you go to Mac, about this Mac, and look at the processor, if you see Intel or something like a regular, that's just going to be Mac. If you see M1 over here or Apple over here, that's going to be M1. That's how you distinguish on Mac. But in my case, I'm just on the regular one, so I'm just going to click here. On Windows, right, you will just click the one for Windows. If you're on Linux, you click the version for Linux. And then that will download this zip. Now, when it's downloaded, I can unzip it. So when I unzip it, I get this Chrome driver file. Now I can just copy this, open my project, and then if I click on this main folder in my project, I can just do paste, and it will suggest me to put Chrome driver into the project. So just click refactor. It's also on the video, but just FYI, that's how you can do it. And then Chrome driver file will be here. It will be added to your project. So now last thing that you will need to do is line number 6 that calls Chrome driver. Right now, it doesn't have any references to Chrome driver. So if you basically put executable pass, whatever, or if you just like have this empty, when you run this, you will see the error, right? It will tell you executable needs to be in the pass or Chrome driver needs to be in the pass. So if you just run your project like this and you see this kind of error, it basically means that your Chrome driver is not here. It's not on this line. So this code doesn't know about your Chrome driver. So when you added Chrome driver to this project, you can just do the right click, copy here, go to absolute pass, right? Sometimes for like later versions of PyCharm, it just recommends you to find absolute pass, but you just need to copy absolute pass. That's it. So when you click here, it will copy the pass to this file on your computer. And then over here on line number 6, right, basically you can start typing executable pass, hit tab, it will recommend you basically which one to fill, and put quotation marks, and then use Command V command or Control V if you're on Windows to paste the pass. So basically from here, again, I'm just copying the pass, and then when I'm using Command V or Control V, it pastes this pass in here, right? So that's basically what's happening. Now, when this pass is in here in your file, you can just do the right click anywhere on this file, click run, and now it will be able to connect to Google Chrome. So you can see that now it opens Google Chrome browser, it searches for something, and then eventually it will verify that this search worked. So if you see something like this, that's good. It means that everything is working, and basically you set up everything properly, you're good to go. So that's pretty much all that you will need to do. Now, if you see, I have another example from a different project. If you run your test, actually, yeah, and you see that it fails, and in the message, you see something like this. Session not started exception, current browser version is 103, but Chrome driver only supports version 101 or something. This exception means that your Chrome driver version, right, this one, and your Google Chrome version are different. So if you see that kind of error, just make sure that when you download Chrome driver, you are downloading the driver for your browser. So double check, go to about Google Chrome, check your version, and make sure that it's the same as the version that you are downloading. This is the second most common mistake that we see. People usually just go here, download the latest version, but when they have older version of Google Chrome themselves, it starts failing, right? So please be careful and make sure that you are using the right one. So that's pretty much it. That will do the magic for you. And if you follow this video, it will show you also like very, very detailed steps on how to install it and make sure that everything is fine. After you go through these steps, at this point, you will have Git installed, you will have Python, PyCharm installed, and you will have your project. So the last step will be to make a Git commit, basically to push your changes into your own GitHub repository. So step 9 has the video on how to do this. And that's pretty much it. So after you do this commit, then your homework is done. You set up everything properly, and then you can go to your course dashboard and you can just submit your assignment. So when you make your commit, basically, you can just go to your repository So let me quickly do this one just as an example. So I just added this executable pass. So let me quickly make a commit just to show you. So I'm just going to do quickly just going to check out the new branch and make a commit. But when you will be working with your project, you don't have to like go through these commands. Please just watch this video. It will show you the commands. It's going to be only like git add and that's it. And then basically you will add your changes. You will then make a git commit with a message. For example, and then you will do git push to push your changes to the remote repository. So git push. In your case, you will push the master. So when you do this, basically your changes that you just made will be pushed to the remote repository, and that's it. So at that point, Git will just do everything for you, and then you can just go to Git and you can find that commit. For some reason, this is a little bit slow. Okay. But anyway, let's just go to GitHub. And let's see. Right, so this is our project. Right, so basically when you do the commits over here, like if you basically go from your main screen over here, you will see the latest commits that you have over here. So if you click on the commit, you will see the history of the commits that were made here. And the latest ones will be the commit that you did to do this latest change. So you can just open it, copy this link, and submit it as your homework. So that's it. When you're submitting the homework, okay, where was I? Let's go back here. When you submitting your homework, just use our interface, like click on submit assignment, provide your name, your email, and just provide the link to your GitHub commit, and that's it. If you made multiple commits to complete the homework, that's totally fine. Just submit the latest one. Or in the comments, you can submit multiple ones, whatever works, but just make sure that you're providing the link from here, right? So the full link, everything that you see here, that goes to this form, and that's how I will get your homework, and I will be able to go to your code repository and make sure that everything is there and everything is basically working. So that's the idea. That's what you will need to do during this homework. So it's just the project setup, and next time we will start creating the script. So right now you have one automated test case in like the sample script that is already created for Google Chrome, so you can just run it. But next time we will start building test cases, and next time we will build a very similar test case for Amazon that will go to Amazon search, look for something, make sure it works, and we will talk about the most common Selenium commands. So whatever we have here, right? WebDriver Chrome, get, find element, all those things we will cover next time, and hopefully it will be clear what every one of those commands is doing. So that's it. That's all I have. Let me know if you have any questions. So let's quickly check the chat. I don't really have anything else for today. The environment setup will probably take you about an hour, maybe a couple of hours. So I would encourage you to please go and check this homework file. I will post it on Slack. You will also have it in the in your course dashboard and start working through this installation instruction and through these videos, just to make sure that everything is set up properly. Next lesson will be on Saturday. So this week, we're not going to have a lesson on Thursday, just because installation of everything usually takes a little bit longer, plus people are still finishing their contracts. So the next lesson will happen on Saturday, but the earlier you start going through this, the better. Let's just make sure that everything is set up properly so we can just concentrate on coding next time, and we won't have to care about our environment or something's not working. All right, let's quickly go through questions. And by the way, if you don't have any questions, feel free to drop off, because that's all I have for today. Okay, can you also share the file here? Yeah, totally. 1 second. So this is the homework file. Okay. Will we receive an email containing this information? So you will receive an email basically when we upload the videos, and just notification. And then if you go to your course dashboard, you will see all the details. So I would recommend you to use course dashboard as the main source. So on the course dashboard, all the latest materials will be automatically uploaded. So that's like the easiest and the earliest way to just see all the new content and everything. Plus, check Slack. So every time we see something, every time we upload the video, we will post it in Slack too. Every time lesson is over and I have some materials, I will also be posting all these materials in Slack almost right away. So please use that for the communication. Okay. Yeah, so lesson 1 homework, I will just post here, and it will also be on the on your course dashboard. So I don't think lesson 1 homework is included in the initial email, but I'm not like sure 100%, but it's definitely going to be in Slack, and it's definitely going to be on the course dashboard. So please use that if you don't see it on the in the email. Could you please share the Slack link? Yes, totally. So let's do this. Quickly make sure it's the right one. Yeah, that's the right one. Okay, so here it is. And when you join a Slack, by the way, over here, you should be able to see the channels, right? You should be able to see general, QA automation course, random. So click on QA automation course, and this is going to be the main channel, right? So this is, again, the channel where you can ask all the questions, where we will be posting notifications. So please use this one for all the questions, things like this. And again, if you're working on homework, or you're stuck, or you're trying to set up Selenium, something doesn't work, you see some issues and problems, feel free to post your questions here. And you can also reach out to Jefferson or Nikhil. They are our teacher assistants, so they will also help you with the installation. Both of them have a lot of experience with test automation, and they are really good in Python and Selenium, and all the questions related to that as well. Okay. How do we receive a contract? I think you were supposed to receive it already at this point over email. But if you have any issues with contract or any questions related to contract, please contact Nikhil. So you can see him on our Slack. He will help you with all the contract related issues. Sometimes I know there could be like some problems with emails or something's not sent. So please reach out to Nikhil. or if you go to QA automation course, like Nikhil posted the message lately, you can just click message and you will be taken to the chat with him. So please ask Nikhil about the contract related issues. Let's see if we have anything else. Okay, so I don't see any more questions. Thank you everybody for joining today. Let's wrap it up for today. Please don't wait till the next week and try to go through the installation today, because installation is probably one of the hardest things for all kinds of automation, for web, for mobile, whatever you're doing. So let's just make sure that it's working before the next time. And next time we will start working with the code and we will start writing some tests. So thank you everybody for joining today. Good luck with your homework, and I'll see you next Saturday. Thank you everybody. Have a good one. Bye-bye.